King is back, baby. I'm on gas. Yo, Flex with it. He's fat.
You there, sitting at home, acknowledge me.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Turnbuckle Weekly Podcast. I am, as always, your host, Casey, and with me is my co-host, my tag team partner, my hetero life mate, a man with a face for radio and a butt for eating hot dogs with. It's Leon. What's going on, buddy? How you doing today?
Well, you know, I'm here and I was ready until you said something about eating hot dogs with my butt again, which we've already clarified that I don't do.
I was in the cooler at work today, and that popped in my head, and I started laughing like a madman.
I bet you did.
And everybody come in, they were like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I just thought of some funny stuff." And I may or may not have been having a good day today. But anyway,
well, good.
I'm gonna tell you what, man. We didn't have an episode last week. We had some things go on. We canceled. But this week, I thought we would do something special. See, we've had a couple firsts on this show. You know what I mean? Especially for me in the podcast. I've been doing this 4 or 5 years now. You've been doing this for the better part of this year. We've interviewed tag teams.
Mm-hmm.
I've interviewed managers. I've interviewed legends of indie wrestling. I have interviewed people who are just getting started 3 weeks out of camp. I've never talked to anyone who currently works as a referee, which is a job that I am fascinated with. Always have been fascinated with as a kid. I used to learn all the referees' names. Well, I definitely know this referee's name.
That's right.
Because his grandma signs my paychecks, and I'm forever thankful for that. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we got Eli of the WWE. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, how we doing, guys?
Good.
Not too bad, man. We saw you last night doing your thing, getting, pimp slapped by Waddell, apparently.
And then having a mean mug for the rest of the show, but that's okay. We're not going to get into that right now. But
Look here.
Look, man, that show last night
was really
man,
good.
That was one of the best shows I think we've been to, man. Y'all come out there and killed it yet again. Small crowd due to like I guess it was a fall festival
thing,
and a trunk or treat, like literally right away from the building.
At the court.
On the
ball
on
court.
little, whatever that ball court fairground little part is over there. Y'all are 300 feet away at the Armory. Still end up getting everybody in the front row entertained. Phenomenal show, man. Y'all was great.
It was probably my favorite show of all time, just for certain reasons.
Dude, we are amping up for Halloween Hell, and I'm so excited for this year's Halloween Hell. The amount of work that everybody's been putting in, this has been the most craziest year already, and then we're about to go on the Halloween Hell this week, and it's about to be even crazier. We know how that goes normally. So.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, this is gonna be
excited.
And this is our first Halloween Hell. Like we haven't experienced this. I've heard stories. I've talked to people who've been at the thing and did the thing, but I ain't
Getting hit
never
with fish.
Yeah, but I ain't never been to one. We're gonna be second row because old Danny Beasley just cannot seem to hold on them first row tickets.
That's right.
Cannot hold on them tickets, which is amazing.
He's a legend, man.
Which is amazing.
Look, Danny Beasley, he hustles his butt off.
He's something.
I think he's sold so far 3 rows fully sold out. So
That's crazy.
Danny is doing his work. He's always really good when it comes to Litchfield and getting those shows sold.
That's
that
crazy,
is our
yeah.
soul for the company right there.
And he was very gracious. Usually he hits us up and he's like, "Hey, tickets? Yes, no, let's go." Well, this time around, like my son was on some crutches and he's probably gonna have to have some corrective surgery to his knee. So my finances was kind of locked up, and I usually try to, we try to get Danny taken care of when we get our tickets. He let us wait until literally the last minute, and then
He saved us the seats.
He saved us the seats for the longest time. There's 5 of them too. Like that's not, it wasn't like, oh, me and Leon gonna go hold hands during the show. Like it wasn't nothing like that. It was, we're bringing people. I'm bringing a kid. He's bringing our buddy, and like we got all this going on. He saved them seats, and then he finally hit me up, and he was like, "Do I need to go to Leon to try to get these paid for? Because I got somebody asking for him." I said, "Yeah." Leon pays him immediately. Not a problem. Sees us at the show last night. Gives us love. Like that dude hustles, but with a heart, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, he's great. So interesting enough for people who don't know, funny story, just because we've got Eli and because I've known him for a little while, I've known of him, but known him more here recently. for everybody on the podcast that does not know, Eli is my wife's cousin. They are of the same gene pool. But what really, I think, brings it home, especially for me, is not only have I grown up, in Brett County with Eli, known him all of middle school and high school, and then I marry his cousin. But what really brings it really home here is his grandmother, Nettie, which you've already mentioned.
Staple of the community.
She is a wonderful woman. So, fun fact about Miss Nettie, she has known me and my mom since I was born, pretty much.
She tells me every day.
She worked with my grandfather. My grandfather was a school bus driver in the 70s and early 80s. And he drove a school bus here in Brett County, and he worked in the kitchen at the middle school when it was the high school. And so they worked together, and I'll never forget, of course, Miss Nettie has always thought real good of my grandfather. And I'll never forget when he was dying and he was in the nursing home, he had dementia and Alzheimer's really bad. And anybody that knows anything about dementia and Alzheimer's, they have good days and bad days. They forget, they remember, that type thing. One person that he never, ever forgot was Nettie. And I remember he was in the nursing home and it was getting close to him passing away. And Mom was up there visiting one day. And the janitors had old keys on a key ring, and those were his bus keys. And he was freaking out one day. Mom was up there and she goes, "Dad, what's wrong?" And he goes, "I got to call the bus garage and tell them that I can't go pick those kids up. I've got to go to the school and help Nettie in the dining room." She said, "I'll call the bus garage and let them know that you're going to need a sub so you can go help Nettie." So she calls and they wheel him into the dining area there at the nursing home. And there was this lady that worked there. And he called her Nettie. Her name was, I don't know, Ashley or something. Not even close.
Not even close.
But the fact that he thought so much of Nettie for all those years that he remembered her in his last days was super special. And I know how much that he meant to Nettie and how much Nettie meant to him. So me and Eli have a lot of history just from like our grandparents bond. So it's kind of special. It's kind of surreal having you on here, bud. It's kind of fun.
Look, I credit everything to my grandmother. She is been the backbone of most of my life, which also most of the community, like y'all said, everywhere we went when I grew up, it was Mama Nettie.
Yeah.
Everybody, that's how they knew her. So that impact alone that she has, and then now she's getting to do what she's always wanted to do, which is open up a restaurant, run that, which everybody knows her food. So I'm very, very happy that she's finally doing everything that she's wanting to do.
And and she, like, I started working for her recently. She come into IGA where I was working at, and she's like, "Listen, I done been told by a couple people, you know what you're doing in the kitchen. I need somebody who knows what they're doing in the kitchen. I'm tired. I'm old. Get on in here, help me out." I get on there and help her out.
Get her to sit down.
Yeah, like, and I've been working.
I've seen that.
She's been getting happy with me, like, making certain things she likes. I do it the way she wants, so she's happy. I've learned how to deal, and that's all. She came in there and said, "Listen, I'll pay you X amount of dollars an hour. You come here and do this job for me." That should have been the transaction. That is normally what the transaction is. She pays me. I come in. I work for her. She gives me the things that the job allows me to have, and that should be the end of the trade. No. This woman looks at me one day. I'm sitting there trying to find something for my shift meal, and I was like, I just don't want anything. I was like, I just can't think. I was like, you know what I really want is, I was like, I miss tuna casserole. I was like, I don't get to have it at the house because the old lady don't like tuna and she don't like the smell of it. And then he sits there for a minute. She goes, "I made tuna casserole last night." I said, "Well, look at you." I said, "Look like great minds thinking alike." And she goes, "I'll be back." She comes back with a full Tupperware container of tuna casserole, and that's what I ate all day. And then she come in the next morning, there's like a serving of it left, and she's like, "Why didn't you take this home?" I was like, "I forgot it was there. I got full and I got working and I forgot it was there. I'm sorry." like it's the heart behind it. But Which is another thing is like she thinks the world of you and gets tickled every time I go to leave on a Saturday. She'll be like, go let him leave so he can go watch that damn youngin' of mine. Go do the wrestling. And I said, yep. I said, I gotta go see him. I was like, I gotta go tell him to open his eyes and quit letting the heels get away with everything.
She told us one time, it was one of the...
I don't wear my glasses while I'm around.
Yes, because that's a good excuse. Dash Licardo doesn't wear his glasses either when he wrestles, but you don't see him missing stuff.
Oh, we were shouting at you so bad last night. Dash got hit in the balls, and I said, bruh.
Eli, turn around.
Or no. What match was it that I
No,
did
it was
that?
Hawkins and Santos.
No,
you weren't reffing that. No, one of those. It was one of
I
those.
don't even know.
Something happened last night, and I saw the spot set up. You got to turn your back, and you got to do something, and you're like looking around, and somebody gets cheap shotted, and I said, bruh, turn around.
It's funny because we were coming to one of the first shows after we had told Nettie that we saw you there, and she goes, yeah, he's been there for a while. I said, yeah. She goes, next show you go to, keep an eye on him, make sure he don't get in trouble. I said, yes, ma'am. I was like, we will. Don't you worry about
She's afraid
it.
of me getting hurt. She calls me every Saturday telling me not to get hurt, not to be careful, but she's afraid everybody's going to beat me up.
Yet the third show that we went to, you got mowed over like a Mack truck.
I said, Eli's a referee. Like, they don't beat referees up that often. And then she's like, oh, okay. That was in the store before I even started working for her. Then we went to that show, and I think Mikey got destroyed.
Bo Sawyer, yeah.
Bo did.
So
Like,
you were the cause of me getting hit.
Yep.
I was like,
I fixed me.
oh, dude, I do this all the time. Every time I'm like, yeah, this isn't what's going to happen or something like that.
And it happens.
And then we go to the show, and that's exactly what happened. So now I just sit there and I watch it, and I'm like, all right, this is going to happen. I'm tired of being wrong because these vignettes are going on, and they're keeping me up at night, and I can't be wrong. I figured out it's you. It's you. That's my guess now. You are the responsible for the vignettes. I've put like boards on the wall, sort of the yarn through the
Yarn and the thumbtacks,
through the thumbtacks, like that meme from Always
Cup
Sunny.
of Jodes.
Couple lines of cocaine and coffee.
Well, we're not going to go there, but okay. Yeah.
No, like last night, Ray kind of did that little push to you, and you walk
great.
out mad, and then Leon just leans over, and this isn't exactly what he said, but it's a funnier version of what he said. He leans over, and he's like, heel turn coming, or something. And then I went, the vignettes are Elijah. And then I was like, I know it now.
We were sitting there and you were, walking around the ring. All the heels were standing up. All the faces were like holding their noses and stuff. You were smiling, like kind of chuckling. And I leaned over and I was like, he's going to get in there and punch one of them. Watch.
He kept hitting me in armor.
I don't know what the Waddell's problem is. I've been powerbombed now by CCW. I've been pie-faced by Ray. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to be so honest.
So, and the funny thing is like, that was probably the most fun I've ever had at a show. Ray coming out and us getting on the mic.
Does this story get funnier?
It does if you keep your mouth shut.
Okay.
So so that was a really fun show, and to be in the midst of a smaller crowd but still having a ton of energy was super fun. We usually on the show, because I know that you've listened before, we get into the beginning. How did it?
That?
Shut up.
Assume everybody
Shut
does.
up. Ain't nobody talking to you right now. We usually start on the beginnings. Keep your mouth shut. Don't open it over there. So I know, like, when I graduated high school, I think you were just deciding, like, hey, I want to try getting into this business type thing. What was your reason to be like, I want to go get into the professional wrestling business? And, like, how's it going? Like, are you enjoying it, or what's that like, Eli? Huh?
So I've always wanted to be in the wrestling business. I've always wanted to do something with entertainment, which most people in Burke County know that. I've always talked about doing entertainment, but always knew that I wasn't going to work a 9 to 5 the rest of my life.
Right.
And wrestling has always been that one thing that has always pushed me to want more. And growing up watching New Japan, Ring of Honor, TNA, and then WWE and stuff like that, and seeing those guys like Bray and Finn, I just grew up wanting to be like them. And Jeff Hardy's a big guy like that I've looked up to for a while. So starting off with that, and then messaging Chris and getting a tryout and getting a part of the shows and going from camera to the merch table to reffing, it's just been a crazy ride that I still don't believe that I'm on yet, and I don't ever think I'll believe that I'm on until it's bigger than what it is now. But for right now, I'm living my dreams. So
yeah,
that's awesome.
And you know, like, that's something else that I hear get talked about around here. Like, I'm not from Breckenridge County. I'm a Davis County guy. So like, I moved up here. My girlfriend's from here. You know, her family's like everybody else. They know everybody. They're kin to everybody somehow. They all shared sisters, aunts, puppy dogs, or something like that. Like, everybody's kinfolk. So I just kind of been getting integrated into like the day-to-day goings on. And when somebody finds out they're like, oh, I'm into this wrestling thing, then they automatically assume that I know who you are, and then I end up, yes, I know who that is. So it isn't working out. And then they'll be like, yeah, it's really cool that like he left to go do this thing, but he's got a heart condition. So is that correct, or is it you were born with a problem?
I do. One of the wrestlers I actually look up to a lot is Wesley. He actually has the same exact heart condition I do, which is a double heart murmur and a seepage.
Wow.
I can still do everything. I've always done sports or some type of extracurriculars. I did band, I did cheer. I've done my fill of getting hit a few times hard, tripped over a few things with a bass drum. So nothing's really stopped me. I know that's what my grandma worries most of the time is because of that heart condition, but for the most part, I'm perfectly good. I keep up with exercise and make sure that I'm good. So,
and see, that's awesome because like that's what I was thinking about is like Pillman, Brian Pillman Sr. had like a heart condition, but was still able to play, high school football at a high level, college football at a high level. And he was a Bengal, so it didn't really translate over in the pros, but he's still playing at a high level. He's in the NFL, and then going into the WCW and the WWF and ECW and performing at high levels there. Not a problem until he, stopped taking care of himself, kind of thing. So like, it's just really interesting to me that like, cause I'm gonna be honest with y'all, like I used to be really, really fat, right? And like super fat. I'm still fat, but like if you lose the weight of a person and you're still a fat guy, like that's how you know you're fat. And that's what happened to me. I lost the weight of a normal person and am still a fat guy. I got diagnosed with diabetes. I passed out at work one time. Scared the shit out of me. Mm-hmm. I immediately was like, no more added sugar. I'm going to eat clean. I'm going to eat right. I ended up losing 111 pounds in the process of 4 years. There is no way at all you could hand me a slice of cake and be like, take a bite of this cake. I'm like, no, if I eat too much of that cake, it will kill me. Yep. So to be born and be like, hey, the thing that makes your body go, it's something ain't right. It's going to be a little off from time to time, so be careful about that. And then my immediate choice would not be like, I'm going to go be an athlete. My choice is, well, I'm going to sit here and worry about having a heart attack every day. So it fascinates me, the motivation to get up and be like, okay, how do I make this happen? I'm going to do something. Something is going to happen for me. I'm going to make it happen regardless of this issue. Like, it is the opposite way I run. That's the fight response. I'm a flight. That's why I ain't never lost a fight. I'm quick. I'm out of there. Shit goes down. Gone. Where's Casey? Mm-hmm. He's hiding. He's hiding. That's it. I'm kind of a bitch. I'm not gonna lie. So it's really inspiring as well. Like my son, I brought both of them last night. One of them, he's born with a lot of issues. He was born with 2 holes in his heart. Luckily, both those holes have sealed. He just had to quit seeing the cardiologist. Like he thought, we didn't tell him it was different either. He thought all kids had cardiologists. When he only found out telling one of his little friends at school he had to go to the heart doctor. And the kid was like, why? And he was like, the same reason everybody goes to the heart doctor, because they got to look at my heart. And the kid was like, I've never been to a heart doctor before. So he comes home in like 2nd grade and he was like, am I weird? And I was like, a little bit, but what do you mean? I was like, I don't know what you mean. And he hits me with this stuff. But he's at the show last night. He's a big Dash guy. He come in there with Dash's bandana, his shirt, his flag. I think he made some draws with that says just just like that on him to wear underneath. I mean, he might have. He's a huge fan, and he comes in there and he looks at Dash. He's like, Dash had a broken back. Dash is a little guy. I had a broken neck. I'm a little guy. Well, then I see you, and I'm like, hey, he's got a heart problem. You had a heart problem. Well, now he's looking at it. He's like, oh, so nothing is off limits to me in this business.
Lord have
That's essentially what he was saying to me last night. Like, we got home, and I'm shoving some groceries down my neck, trying to eat some mac and cheese real fast so I can go to bed and go to work. And he was like, so that referee, he has a heart problem. And I was like, right. I said, Miss Nettie's his grandma, and I tried to explain to him, like, that's not just that referee. Like, he has a name and things like that. And he's like, so that means I can do whatever I want in wrestling. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, all right, bet. And then he went to sleep.
Yeah, I always grew up with the thing of nothing can stop me but me.
Right.
So as long as I push, I can do whatever I set my mind to. And that's kind of where I've kept that up with this heart condition is I can do anything that anybody normal can do.
Yeah, and that's like, I'm telling you, man, like that attitude, like people see that, people hear that, and like it definitely works, especially like the kids. And that's another thing about like at those shows is you guys have developed this, I'm going to use this as a nice little segue. You guys have developed this, like, I'm not going to say a weird, like this really familial relationship with that crowd out there because of attitudes like that, like I think every time that you and Falcon come out, you have your high five, you go around that crowd, like that sets the basis for the show, and that doesn't happen without positive attitudes, ready to go, motivated. Like those fans really dig what goes into that. So basically, that's just a weird way to ask. So how'd y'all come up with the idea of doing that big high five in the pyro?
I'm gonna be so honest with you. That was a random thing. Me and Falcon did it one time, and we got that really cool picture that Jen had posted on Facebook. And I seen that, and I went to him the next week, and I was like, "Hey, Falcon, this is cool. Let's do this every week." So now every time we come out, we high five, we go through, hype you guys up, which that's always my favorite part. I always want to be the first one out. I always want to be the first ref out to open up the show because I love going out there and hype you guys up with that. But they added the fireworks, it just looked cooler. So that's kind of where that happens.
It does, yeah.
I love, like, I don't ever do this enough, but like nobody, like we get on here and everybody like gives up, but what we never talk about is like how good Falcon is. Like that 1-2 combo, I gotta put them over.
Wonderful.
I gotta put them over so hard because like I remember our first show in Livermore. That's who sets your standard. Your ring announcer gets that mic, and they go, hey everybody, like it's their job number one to get that crowd invested. Like we went to Raw and SmackDown, ring announcers do the exact same thing. Let's play a game, everybody. And that's stupid and cheesy. Falcon can go out there, grab the microphone and just be like, how's everybody feeling tonight? And everybody's like, oh, amazing. It's in the voice, it's in the carry, or it's like how we carry. There's so many pieces in WWE. Like we put it over really hard for quite a few reasons. Number one, like we legitimately mean it. I will get on this show and be like, I don't like a thing.
That's right.
I don't care. Like it's fine. It's an opinion. We can agree. We can disagree, or we can agree. But like WWE has so many pieces. And everybody just can't. When I hear people talk about WWE, they'll be throwing around like, well, this, I watch this guy wrestle, and this guy's great. No, you don't understand how good that company is down to the bare bones of it. It's amazing. Like, and talking to as many people as we have, like Cortland Moore, he's spent a lot of time here, just inbox between me and him. Just being like, hey, me hitting him up for stuff and answer my questions, and Ray helping us get stuff launched, and then Chris very enthusiastic about getting on the show and talking to me about pot for 25 minutes, which was super fun. Like that was super fun, which is again another long-winded and weird way to ask, like, is it like a circus back there? Because like we've talked to a lot of y'all. Like, there's some of y'all that I'm like, I don't know how they keep them contained.
Look, there's a few of them that I question them the same way, but backstage it's crazy. Being back there with everybody, it's a big family aspect. we fight like cats and dogs sometimes, but we also get along. It's just how siblings and family works. But at the end of the day, we all love each other. We're all there to support each other, and we're there to make the best show possible for you guys and for the fans. And going out there to see these guys in the back getting pumped up and getting ready to go out there and entertain you guys, it's something crazy to see, because you don't get to see that aspect for real unless you're looking like behind the scenes of WWE and all that stuff that gets posted on YouTube. But to actually see them in person, it's a whole different ball game.
See, I always make like a fun fantasy version of what it's like back there, where it's like Santos is Google translating Spanish to speak, and then like Bo's headbutting bricks. It's like
Snyder and Bo Brady are like oiling each other up.
That is the part that I focus
Might be on
on.
the nose with that one.
Yeah, dude, I focus on that one so hard. I get, dude, those guys, my
They're
kids,
so funny.
both love them so much.
Oh my
And,
gosh.
like Snyder, one of my kids doesn't
Sam got
like.
so offended
One of my
last
kids
night.
doesn't like Snyder. The little one, he does not like Snyder, and he's yelling at him. He's like, "You suck, you suck!" And he's doing it. And Snyder turns around, looks at him, and he looks at me, and he goes, "Little shit," and he keeps going. And I said, "Nah, dog, you right."
And like he was sitting there because like he was yelling at Snyder, and he's like, Snyder, Snyder, and like Snyder leans over, and Stark just stops talking
He
and stares at him.
freezes.
And then Snyder like turns and looks at him. He's like, I thought you were gonna say something, and then he turned around and walks away. I was like,
You know,
man.
I could picture those two dudes back there, and then you got like, yeah. So I've created fun versions of what it looks like back there. Jed Moses back there, he's like,
Yeah.
I'm better than them, and like, I love that.
Munchie
guy,
back there hiding a pair of Cheetos like beside of him or
It's gotta
something.
be a circus back there. Like,
Look,
Or do you
it's
think
even
Santos
better
has-
with Stonewall's in town? I will give it
Oh,
that.
Lord.
Stonewall brings the life of the party back there.
oh, dude, see, I wouldn't have guessed that either. He looks so serious and stoic. Like,
Or do you think Tyler Santos sitting back there with like a numbers book? Oh, 1 + 1 is 2.
hey,
Flip it over.
Leave my guy alone.
He bullied me last night, and I don't appreciate
Oh,
it.
you'll be fine. You'll be okay. You'll be okay. You're like Sam last night. Onyx made my
Oh,
12-year-old
no.
cry,
Yeah.
and it was the
It was
funniest.
Stark.
No, he made my 8-year-old cry, and
Oh,
it was the funniest thing
thing.
I've ever seen in my
Bless
life.
his heart.
Like,
Wait for somebody to put an end to Onyx.
oh, dude, no. So, and his wife is behind us,
Yeah.
seeing all of this happen. So, like, Stark, the 8-year-old, he has a little trouble reading. He's a little sensitive about it, and nobody knows that he has trouble
Nope.
reading except like us four. And he's yelling at Onyx, and Onyx goes, "You need to learn how to count to 10 or read a book or something. You need to learn how to read a book." And Stark sits down and just tears.
Start flowing.
And he comes over and he jumps in my lap and he's crying, and I was laughing so hard. I said, "What does it matter with you?" He said, "He made fun of me because I can't read." I said, "He doesn't know you can't read."
So then we send him to the bathroom. We're like, go clean yourself up. So he goes and he's
Go get yourself
all the way.
composed.
And she leans over and goes, is he okay? And we're like, no, he's fine. He'll be all
She
right.
starts apologizing. She was like, "He's such a nice guy."
He's the biggest teddy bear, I promise.
I said, "Hey, he's fine. He's sensitive. He'll be okay."
Yeah.
That's a hazard of coming to the wrestling show.
And the funny thing about that is, like, what made it even funnier is the last show that we took Stark to, Game Time came out, and it was middle finger, I hate you, you suck, middle
they
finger.
Both just flipped him off to
Yeah.
his face.
And he was sitting there and he's like, what are you, like 7? And he's like, put that finger down, kid. And he
Which
walks
is
away.
incredibly accurate.
Yeah.
He's 8.
Yeah.
He's like, "That was accurate."
And then he's crying at this show, and we told his wife, we're like, hey, look, he's totally in the right because he flicked him off the last show.
Yeah, I told
so
her
he comes out of the bathroom and he's like, I'm all better now. He's gonna pay for that, and he turns and walks right up to the barricade, and he's like, you suck, Onyx. And I'm like, Stark, sit down. He's gonna make you cry again.
Dude, that was the
I'm like, oh,
funniest
it's
shit I've
so
ever seen.
funny.
Like, that was the last thing I thought I was
so
going to do was
funny.
hold my son.
Crying at the show.
Because
And we
he'll-
ripped
he'll-
into him. We got to Beaver Dam heading home, and we tore him apart. It was so
Oh,
bad.
dude! Oh my
It was
god,
so
dude!
funny.
So, and that's another thing is like that is not an isolated thing. Like this is going on throughout that whole crowd, like especially with the kids, which is super fun to me. That's a pretty adult environment.
It is,
there.
yeah.
I mean, I'm just going to be honest. I don't think Chris Waddell has anything less than PG-13 in his brain.
Probably not.
Yeah.
So, like, I've talked to him for about 6 hours, and that's all I need to know. Like, you know what I mean? So, I've had a combined 6, maybe 7 hours of conversation with the guy if you take everything. So, but you have this PG-13 environment where, like, Ray Waddell's walking up and, like, you're a little bitch and stuff like this. And, like, we're cussing and we're, you know, whatever Victor Harlow's doing, then I'm not sure if it's legal. It's definitely not PG.
It's not PG-13.
It's definitely not
I've questioned
PG.
it a few times. I don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that because I see the comments that you'd be leaving. We're gonna talk about that in a minute.
Which,
But-
funny thing about Victor is he is also a Brett County
Oh
cat.
yeah, is that a thing? He is.
What? Okay, I'm going to ask you a question. What year did he graduate? I've been asking everybody around here and they don't know.
Nobody knows.
That's what I was about to say. I don't know. I think it was around like 2016.
Oh, so he's
maybe a little bit. Maybe a
Whoa.
little bit younger than that. I don't know.
So he there's no way he's a year older than I am. There's no way.
That means he was there while you were there.
Why do I not remember?
Maybe
He was there. Harlow was there when Tony was there, I believe. Tony Evans.
So what year was
So Tony Evans graduated in 2000 and he graduated with Patricia at the store. Tony Evans did.
Yeah.
2000.
She's a year younger than me, so it would have
What
been
year did you
11.
2011.
No,
So
no.
he graduated in 2010.
2011. Yeah.
2011.
Because I'm class of 2010.
Okay, so Victor's about your
Actually, no, I'm not, because I got my GED. I'm 09, son.
age. Whatever.
Because I got that good enough. You know what
Yeah,
I
I've
mean?
been asking around. I was like, Victor graduated from here. And they were like, what's his name? I said, I don't know. I know him by Victor Harlow. What am I supposed to do?
He wears a
Search
V
his
on his
social ID?
back, and he's quite frankly stalking a woman.
He is. He's very vaudevillainish.
Yeah,
Look, you might have a Lizzie situation with Harlow if you keep stalking him.
Bo come out last night. I was like, oh, I was like, are we breaking kayfabe right now, brother?
Oh God! And that's pretty much what it was. That's what it was. It was funny.
I was like,
so
are we
good.
breaking kayfabe right now, brother? But no. So like, the kids, and then I'm gonna move on. But the kids, they looked at Victor one of the shows, and like he's walking down and doing his thing, and they go, he looks like the bad guy from Meet the Robinsons.
The bowler hat
And
guy.
I have a D&D character that I made based off that guy who, like, he's in every game I DM to tie them all together because I like universe building. And it's fun and I'm a nerd. I like all the stuff that makes vaginas go away. All of it. All of it. If girls see it and go, ugh, that I like it. Power Rangers, pro wrestling, D&D. You know what I mean? They all just go away. But like, so I made a D&D character, and I was like, they're similar. I didn't even know this person at all, and I have created them in a game.
You've become a huge fan of Victor.
Like, yeah, and now I'm a huge fan of him because I realized, like, I've been playing this guy as a character in D&D for the better part of a decade now.
That's so funny.
And like, but they, so every time he comes out, they're like, it's Gooby. And I was like, don't call him Gooby. Don't do that. And he was like, that's his name. But Meet the Robinsons, his name was Gooby. I was like, don't call him that to his face.
So like
Please
we
bring us on.
we've got our favorite wrestlers and stuff, and the kids. So Sam is super big on like the logic and the in ring.
Oh yeah,
what do you
yeah.
call it?
Like when I'm yelling at you while you're doing your thing of being like, I don't see a weapon.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm yelling a part of the show. Sam's in my ear, and he's like, Daddy has to do that because this spot is planned, and if
He
doesn't-
understands it.
If he doesn't miss it,
No.
like he's explaining it to me.
Yeah.
So that's so where did that come easy to you? Because like I said, referee the referee job. This is where I'm going to nerd out on you, and I'm going to want as much information as possible.
Yep.
But the referee is the most important part of the match to me in certain aspects because the pace is controlled that way. At least in like your larger companies. Do you find that that's kind of like what's going on with you? Do you have to like memorize spots and know, like, okay, during this spot I'm supposed to do this, I'm supposed to do this? Like, how does that work for you? Or are you just in there being like, I'm just going to react?
So there's sometimes that I make sure that I know what I'm doing, but there's sometimes where I'd rather feel the same way the fans do and react on impulse sometimes. So sometimes I won't even ask anything and I'll just kind of go out. We're ready for the match. Let's go. And it just gets to the point of, okay, well, we need you. And I'm there. So, but ref-wise, learning it wasn't that hard. I credit a lot of me getting down refereeing to Mad Mex. He was really pivotal in teaching, especially with like his son Mikey. He broke it down straight for us, and Mikey took me under his wing when I first started, along with referee Alec, and they kind of taught me the ropes, and then Mex fine-tuned it down for everybody, which that was our backbone of the referees most of the time too.
Yeah.
Was Mex was putting together the matches. He was lining us out of which match we were taking, and then we'd go from there with the times and stuff. So I credit him for that one, but it was an easy transition, especially coming off a camera. That was a lot of fun transitioning over to ref, because I hadn't been in the ring, but I'd been outside of it that whole time. So it was a really fun time.
Well, yeah, I mean, that kind of helps you learn, like, placing, right? Because you need to be very specific places in both jobs. Is that translated over then just being like, okay, when I have the camera, I need to be here. Okay, now just envision myself 3 feet higher than what I am right now.
Yeah, kind of. It's more of a, I stay out of the way so I don't get hit sometimes, but I make sure that they have enough room to work in the ring, because these guys are putting on a show for you guys 24/7, week in, week out. So I'm going to make sure that they're able to do everything that they can. When I first started, there was a few rough patches. I stood in front of the rope. If you go back and look at a few videos, MK Swift had to shove me out of the way because he was going for a dive and I was in the front of him. Didn't notice it. But my early stages of reffing, you can really see that learning period to now of where I've kind of gotten the hang of it. But I never feel like you really know a lot of things. There's always room to learn, and I really want to learn more with refereeing, but also eventually learning more with wrestling and just the industry as a whole. So
See, I always wanted to do that. That's my only regret from my attempt at professional wrestling, was that I didn't get to do the ref job, because I had the unfortunate duties of having to be the popcorn guy, pretty much, or don't make the twist motion, Leon. Like this. This is audio only, so you can't see what Leon's doing, but he's taunting me is what he's doing with this. I hear grab a hold in my sleep. Still to this day, I hear it. Wilson. But like, whip scoot. I always had to, like, your popcorn. You gonna make sure that people got their snacks and their drinks, and you gonna clean up and this and I was like, can I go break down the ring? Yeah, but that's later. Okay, I'd like to do other things, and like it was always a problem. It's like, I want to learn how to do this.
$2.
Yeah, I want to learn how to do this.
Yeah.
And I just never got to do it. So is the goal for you, like, because I see the way that certain things work. I've started watching how the classes go, and somebody in y'all's last class would like stooge things to me unprompted. I wouldn't ask how things work, and I would just get told how sausage is made, which I despise sometimes. Sometimes I want to get lost and I don't want to know, and that's one of those things that I don't want to know. I'm curious how things work with the classes and how we move up. But like, if I get too into it, then I will get fascinated with how things go, and then I'll ruin the show for myself. So you start on camera, you go to ref. So the goal ultimately, like, I'm going to become the best referee there is possible, or does the goal become I'm going to be in the ring throwing down?
So, end goal-wise, it's I want to be in the ring. Like I said earlier, I love to entertain. So, if I can be out there, whether you guys are hearing me or hearing me, I want to be out there. But for right now, reffing is where I'm at, and I want to be the best ref that I can. But once that time comes where I get to lace up a pair of boots, put on some gear, and go out there and right some wrongs that have happened to me for the past 3 years now. I will go out there and show out for you guys as much as I can, because like I've said, along with a few other people, when we go out there, it's not just us going out there for ourselves, it's us going out there for the fans, it's also us going out there for our cities, our families. So I want to be able to show out for our city.
And see, what you just said right there confirms those vignettes are you. I'm gonna right some wrongs. I'm gonna go out here and do this stuff for the city. That is a nicer way of what those videos are saying. I'm on to you, big fella. I'm on to you.
I did not set me up for that.
I have been doing this to. I've been doing this to everybody. You should check you should check Ty's inbox. I like the night he came back in Livermore to like do that little spot with Santos, Munchie, and Dash with the shank. I was talking to him
that morning.
That morning we were talking about something, and I said, "Are these vignettes you? Are you about to come back pretty soon?" And he was like, I'm gonna shoot with you right now, man. It's not me. He's like, I'm nowhere near ready to come back, blah, blah, blah. The vignettes have nothing to do with me. I'm still a year out from a return. I was like, damn. I was like, that really sucks, man. I was like, because it started kind of making sense a little bit when I spun it a certain way. And then I just kind of like, and then that night he comes back with the shank, and I text him from the chair. And I said, you dick.
He's like, a shank, really, big fella?
I said, you kayfabing me right now? I thought we was better than that, dog.
Look, I honestly think these vignettes, we haven't seen him in a few weeks. I think it might be Casper Davis. That's the only logical reason. Because where's he been at for the past few weeks? Because Tommy Guns has been alone. So,
well, see,
I don't know. That's where I go to with my guess.
See, I was curious about that because we saw Casper go down with an injury and walk away. So I've been arguing with the boys that he's not injured. I didn't even think about Casper Davis being a choice. I honestly was down to 3 people. Like, if I'm going to be serious, if we can share this, if we can take a moment to share our opinions about WWE storylines, that somebody that's in this conversation probably already knows the answers to it, and he's just faking like he don't. But
we're not going to say any names because we don't do that to people.
All I'm saying is I've got it down to 2 people now. It's Cortland Moore or it's Chris.
I didn't even think about CCW. I'm going to be so honest.
I only
see, but are you really being honest, though?
That's what I'm saying.
Look, he's been on the shelf. He's not been here. We haven't seen him.
We saw him.
And last I heard, his rotator was still healing, so I don't know.
Well, see, here's the thing, though.
Yeah, see, we got you now in the corner.
This is where I'm going to get you. This is where I'm going to corner you right now, dog. I got you. So this is my thing. We saw him get in the ring at Mex's tribute.
And he didn't have a sling on.
No sling. He did not favor one arm over the other.
He used the arm to hold up the...
Well, no, see, because I don't know what arm is hurt, but all I'm saying is he used both arms to pull himself up into the ring with the ropes. He did not, in any movement, favor either way, and Ty let slip that he took a bump the other day. So he goes, I don't think it's Chris because he took a bump the other day and said it was the worst pain he ever felt in his life. I said, I call bullshit. It always hurts. It always hurts. Every single time. You eventually learn how to be like, okay, whatever, and you can move past it and it doesn't register, but it still doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt. It just means you're used to it.
Yeah.
So, like,
yep.
Of
something
course.
to get used to anyway.
So I've just been doing it because like my other options are just they didn't math.
This dude over here said it was Chris Jericho last night at the show.
I was just being
He's
funny.
like, it's Chris Jericho confirmed.
I can see Casey with his little board right now. I'm just trying to
Oh
figure
my
out
gosh, I'm
pictures.
surprised he hasn't.
No, I've been funny. Like when Willie Finesse will post something and it'll be about that and he'll be like, this is kind of weird. I always post a gif of Kane. Like, it's gotta be Kane. That's why. That just keeps popping in my head. And then sometimes I'll like post Chris Jericho, John Cena retirement confirmed. I sit there and I fully made a case to somebody the other day who didn't mean a word of it that it was John Cena. It was Sam. I was doing it with Sam. I was like, it's John Cena. And he was like, what do you mean? I said, he's got 4 appearances left. He hasn't wrestled in the WWE yet. That might be on his list. He's like, why does John Cena want to go wrestle for WWA? And I said, because he's giving love back to Kentucky, because the city of Louisville was so kind to him, and we're close enough, call it a day. So
little do y'all know, Teddy Long is going to come out in somebody's face, The Undertaker.
Yo, yeah, it's going to be a tag team match, player.
The Undertaker.
You're going one-on-one with The Undertaker. Like, bro, that would be hilarious.
Dude.
That would be the funniest thing in the world if American Badass by Kid Rock just started playing. And I'd be like, that's licensed music.
And then you hear a motorcycle start up in the back.
A motorcycle.
You know how many people would probably crap themselves?
Oh, dude.
Listen, I would shit a full chicken if that would happen. Like, it would be alive, it'd making noises, it'd be clucking.
So that brings up an interesting segue. We're going to segue right now. So I've noticed WWA has had a lot of legends come and make appearances. What are some of the legends that you remember since you've been with WWA that you've got to talk to that you were like, this is a dream come true, like they're here and I'm speaking to them?
So I've only been there for this last round, which was over the top. I came in a little bit later than everybody else that's been there and met like Hurricane, Sandman, dudes like that. But one of the really pivotal guys that I met at Over the Top, which I've been watching him since I was a kid with Abyss, and he had ran with Rosemary and things like that. So Crazy Steve.
Yes.
Decay was always really, really big in my childhood, and I always wanted to be a creepy, dark gimmick, and I just wanted to come to the ring and instill fear like Bray Wyatt and like Crazy Steve and Abyss in them. Another one's The Godfather. He was so cool to talk to. Those stories that he was telling, he just came to the back and sit down, which the dude was, he was so fun that whole day. Chris Masters and Elias were actually really cool as well, but I think The Godfather and Crazy Steve might be the top two for me right now. Just because I grew up watching The Godfather with my grandfather on old tapes and stuff,
right,
and hearing about the Ho Train and seeing all those girls coming off.
Look,
oh, dude, that's awesome.
I was watching that live in the 90s as a child. Being like, what? Sitting there watching Raw. Undertaker comes out, or Godfather comes out, the Undertaker. I know that you like hoes. I'm just like, what is going on?
And him biting his bottom lip, trying not to break.
No, the stuff I have seen out of just some of the names you said. Like, I remember when the Hurricane was in a boy band. Like, that was a gimmick called 3 Count.
In the back.
Like, Hurricane, I have an unopened toy of the Hurricane.
You love the Hurricane.
It's the only action figure I've never opened in my entire life. Is a Hurricane action figure. I love the Hurricane. I've always loved the Hurricane. Even when he debuted and he was like goofy and everybody was beating him up, I was like, that's my dude. He has a Green Lantern tattoo on his arm. I love him forever. Even when he was that crappy like Gregory Helms gimmick where he wore the do-rag out for some reason.
He almost looks like a freaking Green Lantern with a hurricane symbol on it.
He comes out with the do-rag, and I was like, all right, culturally appropriating, but I'm still on the train. You made famous the Vertebraker. I'm still on the chain.
Such a good move.
I'm still on the train. Always rode for that dude. Like, now, see, that's what would kill me is, like, I don't know how to respond to people that I like. Like, I met the guy who did the voice of Scooby-Doo in one of the Scooby-Doo movies, and, like, I served him at a restaurant one time, and he took a picture with me, and he signed some stuff for me, and, like, the entire time he was trying to talk to me, he was like, so your mom tells me you're like a huge fan of Scooby-Doo, because Mama worked there too. Your mom tells me you're a huge fan of Scooby-Doo and stuff, and that's why I just want to make sure to come over and talk to you. And I was like, yeah. Ruby doo. Like, I couldn't talk to him at all. I was like, do you remember?
That's how I kind of was with the Crazy Steve match at Over the Top. We were going back talking over that, and he was telling me the things that he does, and I was just starstruck the whole time. I was like, yeah, okay, cool.
I love that dude when he first came into TNA with the Menagerie. Oh, dude, it was so weird. Like, I loved old TNA. I don't know what happened to it. Crazy Steve, that's really funny that you mentioned Crazy Steve, because Sammy has started watching old WWA. My YouTube is now just completely taken over
by Hysteria.
By episodes of Hysteria. Like, my Watch It Again is 2 pages of Hysteria. He started at the beginning.
The very first one.
Like, he started at the beginning, and now I walk in the house the other day after work, and like open the door. He's there in the living room. He's on the spectrum, so he gets a little flappy when he gets upset, and he's sitting there flapping up and down in front of the TV, and he's watching Clay Williams versus Crazy Steve at the Sports Center. And he was like, "Why didn't I go? Why didn't we go to this show?" And I was like, "Well, because we just didn't do that." And he was like, "It's the bottom of the card versus Crazy freaking Steve." He was like, "I watched him invade Matt Hardy's house. He broke the law. Watched him do it. I could have been there live and seen him." And like he looked at me like I was such a failure as a parent, be like, "Dude, Clay Williams is wrestling Crazy Steve right now." Like he's trying to sell it to me that it's going on. I was like, "I see it, dog. I saw the poster. We didn't get to go. I'm sorry." Like he was so. But those shows are really cool. The fact that like you guys also get to do that, and your guys still get the shine. Like you don't have to. Like nobody on that show has to worry about like, oh well, I'm overshined by The Godfather.
Yep.
Well,
Oh, here comes Sabu.
Sabu's coming. Nobody cares about me anymore. No, like these guys come in and they're like, "Yeah, we're here to help you." Which
Chris Masters. Oh,
the wrestling stories I have heard just from other wrestlers who have met Barry. I got a buddy who did some extra work in.
we're not going to talk about Beefcake.
Beefcake, Bruce Beefcake.
We're going to talk about him.
Yeah, but I got a buddy who does. He did some extra work in Ring of Honor up in Michigan. Has nothing but negative things to say about his interactions. He was like, "This is old time wrestling." I'm talking to like dudes who had been there for a while. The people that were on that roster at that time are the guys who are like the people we're looking up to now, like Kazarian and Daniels and like of that generation. That's who was on the card wrestling. So the generation before them is the people in the back, and it's usually nothing but negative things. And to hear now that even some of that generation is coming on through and being like, "Hey, this is how you do the job." Like, I don't understand why we want to guard the secrets from the people doing the job. Don't tell me. Like, don't tell me what's going on backstage. I don't want to know that. I'm just some fat bald dude watching the show. Like, I don't need to be told those secrets, but those secrets need to be passed down back behind that curtain. And some people were like gatekeepy about that stuff, and it just got really weird. I'm really glad that I can confidently talk to somebody and be like, "Where you work is legitimately pretty awesome." I hear very little negatively. Usually all the negative stuff is just don't get Chris started politically.
Yeah.
That's all the negative stuff I hear. Because we live amongst all these... anyway,
If you ask my grandma, she'll tell you the story about her and my grandpa going on a vacation. I believe it was to Hawaii, but they were on a plane with the Big Show, and she held his... I think it was a hot dogs that he
That's
gave her,
crazy.
but she'll tell you that story 3 times in a day if you ask her about it.
She's never told... Oh, I'm going to ask
You
her
have to
about
ask her,
that
yeah.
on Thursday morning when I'm in there making pimento cheese and meatloafs and stuff. I'm going to be like, hey, did you meet the Big Show and you ain't tell me about this? Like, I'm a huge wrestling fan. My first day of work, not even on purpose, wore my WWA shirt to work because I couldn't find anything else I wanted to wear that was black. It was my only black shirt I could find. Other than my podcast shirt, I have that merch, but I didn't want to wear that in there because that just kind of seemed like I was putting a hat on a hat. You know what I mean? Like, I'm wearing my merch to work. That's it's kind of getting weird, but I got to tell you, we usually start to wind these things down with a question, and I've learned now to give a lot more time to answer the question just because of the varieties of answers we've gotten on this, and I mean every end of the spectrum of this question. So. You're not long in the business, but you've had enough time that you may have learned some things along the way that might have helped you, if you'd known them before. Because I'm huge on hindsight. Leon's huge on being able to look back and just being like, okay, maybe in the future we could do this better. So if you could take something even to like the child version of yourself, that's just like, I'm going to do this. If you go back and tell that kid a thing about what's going to make this easier, what would that be for you?
I think, honestly, looking back at the younger version of me, I'd probably look back and tell him, don't be as scared and afraid to take chances with things, but also don't be afraid to put yourself out there, because the worst somebody can say is no or turn you down. But at the same time, if you're a fighter, if you keep going, you'll eventually get to where you're supposed to be. even if it's not where you're wanting to be right now. And that's always going to go forward with my life as well. But I think looking back, that'd be one thing that I'd tell my younger self, which is just stick up for yourself more, kid. Do more, push yourself more, get out there, because you're greater than what you think you are.
Yeah, I really,
pretty solid.
I really like that answer. I haven't heard one of these answers that I didn't like, but if we have a moment, I would like to share my favorite answer we've had to this. Literally the last show. Like, I've heard versions of that right there, and I love it. It's beautiful. Cortland Moore told us that he wouldn't do anything because he didn't want to mess up the timeline. And it has consumed me. So now I have so much more of a connection to this question, because somebody was just like, everybody's been like, I wouldn't tell anything because then how would I be able to learn the lessons I learned? And then some people have said like a version like, don't give up, keep going. And then Cortland Moore with, carrying around a toolbox with somebody's beard in it. I would ruin the sacred timeline. So maybe I would go be like, hey, this. But even then, no, because if I told him to manage your diabetes better, who knows what would have happened? The butterfly effect. And I was like, I need mushrooms for this. I need to be tripping absolute donkey balls to be listening to this answer right now. And it's just insane. But before we go, I have a note here that I wrote myself to remind me about the vlogs you've been doing. Are you still doing those?
Yes, so I am gathering highlight clips right now, so there are more episodes coming. My next one will be Marauder, and then I have Willie Finesse lined up for After Halloween Hell. I'm really upset about the next one because I didn't get the full one because we had lost storage and stuff. So I will eventually put out a longer version of that. But just keep watching my social medias. I'll get them up eventually, and hopefully everything works out to where I can get them up regularly. That is the next steps for that.
I really enjoyed the first one with Casper Davis. I didn't know that about him. That's not something you can easily find about him. Some of the things he talked about, just like incarceration and such like that, like that's deep dives. You got to be looking for something like that to find that, and to hear that story and the way you highlighted it, like it was really good work. It was really good work. As soon as you put that out.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, no problem. I have no problem at putting anything over if I really enjoy it. And I did that. Like, I told Leon as soon as I first saw it, and I was like, yo, Eli's got these videos out that are like short, they're shorter little snippets that just interview questions, puts them in a very natural environment, just lets them go and talk, and it's very loose. I was like, it's what I aspire to do on this show. It feels loose. That's what we need to be doing. I was like, so I was like, since he's doing this, like I'm going to Eli, we're going to make this happen. And then not long after that, I just cold texted you. Because I was like, I gotta also talk to somebody who does this. It's very helpful to sit and throw things back and forth. Like most of the questions, if I ever hit Munchie up or something like that about stuff, 90% of what I'm asking is like, hey, on your show, do you do this? Do you do that? And like, I don't know what your process is, but like whatever you're doing, like keep doing that, because it's compelling. Like it's a serious setting that feels loose. Like you're asking serious questions, you're talking about some deep things, but it still feels, very loose and natural. It was so good. And Mex's was beautiful. I got the pleasure of interviewing Mex about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago. Well, probably was 2 years ago now, but I had the pleasure of interviewing him, and I got to say, it's probably one of the best interviews I've ever had in my life. He was so funny and so giving, and I can't wait to see more of your stuff. Marauder is somebody that I've reached out to, and he said, I'm going to make time for you, and it's going to happen. Willie is somebody we definitely aspire to have on here, so I'm going to be paying attention to both of those things for sure. But yeah, man, we love it. We appreciate you coming on. I'm
Absolutely.
Honest,
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
Definitely gonna have to have a part 2 for sure.
Yeah, and we're gonna have to do it.
I'm here for it.
We're gonna have to do it upstairs while we eating food and stuff like that on the camera, because Nettie already told me we could do it.
We are not going to be able to walk out. That's all I know.
No. We're gonna have to go upstairs. We're gonna have to go out the back door
Yeah, we're
down
gonna
the
sneak,
big
yeah.
down the big metal stairs. We're gonna have to do that
Because look, I already know that if I walk in there, she's gonna be like, "I need you to sing some songs." I'm like, "No, not today. I have a podcast."
Yeah, like it's gonna happen. We're gonna have this happen again. I always want to express gratitude because time is very finite.
Yeah.
Time is important to me. When anybody offers me their time, it's worth $1 million to me. And that's the same thing we want to tell the listeners as we go. Just like I do every time, guys. We appreciate you guys giving us even an hour of your day. Whatever it is, if you're binging us, that's your thing. I wouldn't want to listen to me talk all day long, but you guys are doing it. I appreciate it. And I guess Leon over here too.
That's right.
Putting hot dogs in his butt. And
Whatever.
such. There's
dog.
teeth in there.
Yeah, I'll be whatever. Lord.
No, you're not human. I don't trust anybody that doesn't do anything.
Okay.
You're a teetotaler. I don't trust nobody. Don't have a drink or smoke a little reefer every once. You know what I'm saying?
Whatever.
I don't trust. That's what my granddad said. If they ain't got no tattoos, they don't smoke no reefer, they don't drink no alcohol. They's an alien.
Okay. Okay.
But
What do you say, buddy?
but he also lost complete faith when I started listening to hip hop. Like, he quit talking to me when he found out how much I liked hip hop. So not everything he said was great.
That's true.
But I hold on to that. Some things he said was pretty good. But anyway, everybody, we appreciate it. We love you. Love yourselves. Take care of each other so we can get through this thing. Watch this wrestling we like to do. Kind of turn off the craziness of the world. We love y'all, man. Thanks, Mom.